Hey guys, Tace here from the Code with Tace channel. Today we are going to be looking at method hiding. We have touched on this topic in our previous video on inheritance, so if you missed that, please make sure you check it out. It's on the C# video playlist, okay? So let's create a couple of things to get us into position for understanding this topic. So first we're going to need a base class, which will be an employee class, so public class employee. Okay, it's going to have a couple of members, two properties for first name, and if I just copy that, we can make another one for last name. Okay, and then we're going to give it a function as well, public void work, and this will just basically print out to the console that actually, let's use some string interpolation to say that the first name space surname, or last name actually, started to work. Cool. Okay, then we're going to create some employees with this base class. We can create like a well, we'll create some derived classes with this base class. We'll create a doctor class. Okay, and that will inherit from the employee. Oops, what did I do there? Inherit from the employee class. And then we'll also create a nurse class as well. Nurse, and that will also inherit from employee. Let me just spell that correctly. Cool. Clean that up a bit. Perfect. Okay, now we can new up these derived classes in the main method. Okay, so let's first of all create our doctor equals new doctor, and the same thing for our nurse equals new nurse. Okay, and then we can say nurse dot first name equals Jill, nurse dot surname, or last name actually, equals Scott. Then we can say that the nurse invoke this nurse work method. Then we can do the same for a doctor as well. Let me just be really quick and copy that. Doctor. Let's change the name to Bob. Oh, Bob Son, maybe. Let's try that. And doctor. Perfect. Okay, so when we run this, we should see that obviously Jill Scott printed to the or Jill Scott started. Let's correct that. Started to work, and Bob Son started to work. So let's run that and see what we get. Cool. So basically, it's using the members of its base class to set the first name, surname, and invoke the work method. Okay, the problem with this function though is that it's a bit too generic. A doctor works kind of in a different way, or you would expect that a doctor would work or carry out this work function in a different way to a nurse. So let's try and customize the doctor class first with its own version of work. Okay, so let's go public void work. Okay, and we can print to the console. Just copy this and go started treating patients, because that's what you'd kind of expect the doctor to do, I guess, at some stage. Okay, now when we run this, we obviously get Jill Scott started to work. Yep. And we get Bob's son started treating patients. Okay, so that's what the functionality we expect, or the outcome we expected to see. However, we're getting a green squiggly when we over the work function. So if we hover over it, we see an error that says doctor.work hides inherited member employee work. Use the new keyword if hiding was intended. Okay, well, that is our intention. We want to hide this functionality from the base class. So it's saying let's use the new keyword, and that error goes away. Okay, and when we run that, we effectively get the same outcome that Bob's son started treating patients. Okay, so that's a perfect example of method hiding. We've basically hidden the method of the base class, and we're now when we invoke the work class in the doctor in a doctor object, we get this outcome. Okay. In our nurse class, I will show you obviously that we can still utilize the base class function, okay, and not hiding by doing this. Obviously, let's do that. So let's create a public class. Oh, sorry, public void. Actually, public new, because we're gonna create our own version, but not hide anything. Okay, so this time we use the base keyword. Okay, and we invoke the work method. So basically, what we're doing here is we are not hiding, even though we are creating a new version of the work function. We can still invoke the base version of work function. So when we run this, it should give us still the same outcome. Jill started to work, which is what the base method does. Base class's method does. Okay. We can also come up here where we do all our invoking, obviously, and cast the doctor class with its base class. Okay, so if we wanted to, instead of calling the doctor's work method, we can change that by casting the doctor object with an employee reference. So let's do that, employee. Okay, and now this method that it's calling is actually coming from the employee class, base class, not the doctor class. So when we run this, we should see it invoke the started to work version of the work function. So let's do that, and you can see there Bob's son started to work. So obviously there it's using the function of the the base class as opposed to the derived class. We could even take this a step further and assign an object of the child class to a reference of the parent class. So an object of the child class, which is this, we can assign it to a reference of the parent class. So let's get rid of this again to make sure that we're still calling the doctor.work function. Let's run that. So yes, we are. So start to treat patients. I'll start treating patients. Now, if I, instead of using var, I used a reference of the employee class up here, obviously we know, or what do you think is going to happen? Obviously, it's going to call this version of the work function as opposed to this one. So let's try that and see what happens. Yep, okay, because obviously it's calling the work version of employee there. Okay, Just a note as well that the child class reference variables cannot point to the parent class object. So basically we can't flip this the other way around and say doctor here and have that point to a base class object. That's not going to work and you'll get an error. So you can't do this, but you can obviously do it the other way around where the base class, which is the employee, can point to a doctor object. Okay, cool. So that perfectly segues into the next topic, which will be on polymorphism, which is one of the key pillars of object-oriented programming. So please look out for that video and have a great day.